Wherever you work, whatever firm or organization you create or lead, define your purpose and stick to it obsessively.
That was Mark Carney in 2018. Not campaigning, not governing, not responding to Trump's latest tariff threat, standing in front of thousands of university graduates at the University of Toronto 7 years before anyone imagined he would become Prime Minister of Canada. And the remarkable thing about that speech is not what he said about economics or central banking or global markets. It is how precisely everything he described as a philosophy of leadership maps onto exactly what he has been doing to Trump since the moment he took office. Purpose, partnership, perspective. 3 words from a 2018 convocation address that turned out to be the exact blueprint Canada has been executing against the most aggressive American pressure campaign in modern history. Subscribe to Canada Point right now because tonight we are going back 7 years to the speech that proves Carney was always built for this moment. Before we play the key clip, you need to understand the context Carney was speaking into in 2018. Trump was already in his first term. Trade tensions were already rising. CUSMA was being renegotiated under enormous pressure. And a room full of business graduates was about to enter a world Carney described as experiencing tectonic shifts, from G7 to G20 to G0, from the third to the fourth industrial revolution, a world where the old rules were breaking down and new ones had not yet been written. Sound familiar? Because that is precisely the world Canada is navigating right now. And the advice Carney gave those graduates in 2018 is the identical strategy he has been applying to Trump in 2025 and 2026.
Some simple decision rules for a changing world are to be flexible and adventurous in your career choices, particularly as you begin. Pick those opportunities that give you a chance to learn new things and to grow as a person, and to think of every job or opportunity as a potential investment in yourself, not only being worthwhile in and of itself, but also as an experience that will prepare you for the next opportunity that will come along, and many opportunities will come along to you as Rotman grads. In these ways, you'll build adaptability, you'll enjoy yourself, and as a consequence, you'll be more likely to succeed.
Adaptability, growth, investment in yourself. Now translate those words from a graduation speech into a geopolitical strategy. When Trump imposed tariffs, Canada did not panic. Canada adapted. It found Asian markets. It built TMX. It signed agreements across 5 continents. When Trump threatened annexation, Canada did not retaliate emotionally. Canada grew. It deepened European partnerships. It hosted the NATO Defense Bank. It launched the largest defense industrial strategy since World War II. When Trump tried to make Canada feel small, Canada invested in itself. $500 billion in defense, $2 billion in AI, $750 million in sport, $15 billion back to Canadians through electrification. Every single response Canada has made to Trump's pressure follows the exact framework Carney described to those graduates 7 years ago. He was not making it up as he went along. He already knew exactly who he was and how he leads. Trump just never bothered to find out.
In a world of diversity and division, partnerships will drive breakthroughs. Select your teams wisely and recognize that while diversity is a reality, inclusion is a choice, and I recommend you take it. And always try to maintain perspective. While you should always be able to marshal your facts, and as Rotman grads you will, you must also engage with people's intuitions and win their trust. And that means doing it through empathy, being open to dialogue, and remembering Henry Ford's advice that the secret of success is to see things from another person's point of view.
Partnerships, trust, empathy, seeing things from another person's point of view. Compare that philosophy to Trump's. Trump's entire approach to Canada has been dominance, pressure, threats, unilateral demands designed to make the other side feel powerless. Carney's approach has been the opposite at every single turn. Building coalitions, winning allies, framing Canada not as a victim of American pressure, but as a stable, trustworthy partner that the rest of the world can rely on. Europe chose Canada for the NATO Defense Bank, not because Canada demanded it, because Canada earned it. China signed preliminary trade agreements with Canada, not because Canada threatened them, because Canada built a relationship based on mutual benefit. Asia is paying full price for Canadian oil not because Canada forced them, because Canada built the infrastructure to offer them a reliable, trustworthy alternative to unstable Middle Eastern supply. Trust as a strategy, partnership as a weapon, perspective as an advantage. Carney described all of it in 2018, and Trump walked into a leader who had already thought all of this through long before their first phone call.
When success comes, and I mean more success because you are all incredibly successful already, it'll be important for you to remember the role that chance plays in all of our lives and the responsibility that comes with good fortune. It is, after all, a total accident of history that I am governor of the Bank of England.
Total accident of history. That self-awareness. That genuine humility from a man who had already led two of the world's most important central banks, who had navigated the 2008 global financial crisis, who had worked across 3 continents and learned from Ben Bernanke and Christine Lagarde under conditions of enormous pressure, and yet still standing in front of those graduates and saying, "I got lucky. Remember that, and remember the responsibility that comes with it." That is the leader Trump has been trying to bully for the past year. Not a politician who stumbled into power and is figuring it out as he goes, but a man who spent decades deliberately building the adaptability, the partnerships, the perspective, and the purpose that he told those graduates in 2018 were the only reliable guides through an uncertain world. Trump called Carney a governor to diminish him. He threatened Canada with tariffs to break him. He used annexation rhetoric to frighten him. He questioned Canada's sovereignty to destabilize him. And Carney responded with purpose, with partnership, with perspective, exactly as he said he would 7 years before Trump ever saw him coming. The speech was in 2018, the proof is in 2026, and the gap between those 2 dates is the story of a man who was always ready for exactly this moment. Subscribe to Canada Point for deep, honest analysis of the stories shaping Canada's future. Turn on notifications and we will see you in the next